Welcome everyone to Crossroads Crew Live. We are back after taking a month off. We've got another amazing show lined up for you today with a couple of rock star higher ed special guests. We're talking all things fall travel, tech tips and tricks, leadership. So close a few of those tabs on your computer, grab a drink, and get ready for your favorite hour of the month. Brad, let's crew it up.
We are the Crossroads Crew, bringing that fire to you. From the dorms to the boardrooms to raise up the you. Raise up the you. Every day we see it through. Higher ed dreams coming true. Brad Ward, drop the beat, let the whole place move. Crossroads Crew.
Here comes the boys. Welcome back. Welcome back. How we doing, everybody?
Hey, good to see everyone.
It's good to
We're
see
here.
you. Good to
It's
see you
August.
guys. I mean, we took a month off. It feels like, though, it's been forever. So it's great to have the gang back together. Got a great show lined up today. Before we really dive in, I always want to welcome everyone that's out there watching. You may be watching live on LinkedIn. I think we stream live to YouTube. I don't know where we're streaming live these days. But wherever you are, we're glad you're taking an hour out of your time to kind of hang with us. Also, we do encourage you guys to participate. So you do need to go over to crossroadscrew.live to get to the website if you want to get in the chat with us. So just direct your attention over there if you do want to jump into the chat. But we are great to see you. I cannot believe, I think I speak for the whole crew here. Gosh, it's already August. How is it already August? I cannot believe the summer basically is quickly coming to a close and it is back to school time. Wow. So guys, let's jump in. Let's get into it. Where do we want to kick things off today? Want to kick things off with what we've been hearing?
Every month, man.
Let's do it. What have we been hearing?
Bart, you're coming in hot. What do you got?
Nothing like that. I'm literally just coming off the road trip up to Chicago and literally arrived about 3 minutes ago. So I'm unprepared for this, but I think a lot of what I'm hearing is that yield is more important than ever. I think that the last several years, I think the mantra has been more at the top means more at the bottom, and that's not the case anymore. That's not reality. And so I think that, better at the top means more at the bottom. But I think that what I'm seeing and hearing is that it's a fool's errand just to keep shoving stuff at the top without really having a plan to get better yield.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Bart. And, the things that I thought of as, was thinking about what I wanted to bring up today were exactly tying into both those. The first thing, right, campus visits. A lot of schools are telling me either year over year they're flat or down, right? So any of you listening who are flat or up, like you're doing better than most. And I think it's understanding every school has data pretty much. I've yet to have a school in 12 years tell me the opposite of this, that we don't yield higher on students who visit campus, right, assuming they go through the funnel and they apply, get admitted, and so on and so forth. And so understanding what your data says, and if you're looking to get more visits at the, I'll say, early stages of this process, I can tell you I have data through, my work with my own company, Top Tier, that basically says parents are the sole drivers and planners with students of campus visits. I mean, besides figuring out financial aid, students say it's the second thing that, most of their parents and guardians help them with. So you got to get to parents sooner if you want more campus visits. And then the other one is, I got asked probably 4 or 5 times in the last, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, just about the top end of the funnel, like you mentioned, Bart, direct admissions, for example, right? Or all these name buys that schools continue to do. And I think what schools are finally starting to realize, at least some of the schools I'm talking with, is, gosh, our yield is getting killed at the end of this, and we can't understand why. And then when they look deep, what they're realizing is, well, we're admitting students who have such low affinity that they're probably not going to come anyways. And so it's pulling down, right, our yield, even with all these other, like, I literally have schools telling me, we think we're going to have a really, really good year, and then we're actually down 2 or 3% our yield. And we're like, what? And I'm like, well, what did you do differently? And it's adding too many, I'll say, names at the top end of the funnel, Bart, to your point earlier.
I've been preaching this for a decade now, that you're getting more admits, your admit pool is increasing, your staff is not growing proportionally. Your staff must know where to focus their efforts. They used to be responsible for 200 families, and now they're responsible for 500 families. Like, you've got to be strategic and intentional about where you are focusing resource and where you're focusing time. And there's many different ways to do that. But yes, I will continue to maintain and say that the companies who are now saying that yield is the priority were the companies who were just selling names and making a lot of money doing that. Name buys aren't a revenue driver anymore, right? Students are taking fewer standardized tests. There are fewer leads to pass around and to sell. So they're coming down further in the funnel. Doesn't mean they're experts in it. Doesn't mean they're good at it. They're just looking for revenue. And so be mindful as well when you're reviewing what you're investing in, that you're not just buying a nice slide deck.
And this kind of ties into, I think when I was director of admissions, my team probably hated me when I said this a lot of times, which is quality is greater than quantity, right? Looking at the quality of the student, looking at those behavioral traits, those behavioral signals of what they're doing and engagement wise, is who we should be following up on. We talked about the affinity being a little bit lower with some of those name buys and stuff. So we got to use measurable recruitment strategies and initiatives to do so. But one of the things too, kind of ties all this together that I've been hearing is just how the budget crisis, how crazy the budget crisis is. It's August 7th, and I literally got a text today from a partner that I'm trying to work with who said, Ryan, I still don't have my budget. It's August 7th, and I still don't have my 2027 budget. And it just baffles me when we're trying to do something new and innovative, or look at and measure some of our spends, that we don't have the budget to do that. Again, that's just baffling to me.
It's interesting you say that, and again, this is from my perspective. I'm struggling with accounts payable right now at every institution we work with. They're all at least 30 days behind, and I know we just switched, June 1, July 1, new fiscal years. Like, what's happening out there, right? It's funny you mentioned that. Do they not have budgets set? It's just been something interesting that we're working through right now. But it does seem like there is a climate right now of budget uncertainty, or at least it's just not set in stone, when in years past it would have been set in stone at the May Board of Trustees meeting, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I'm hearing something that's just way more important to discuss than what you guys have already brought up. And it's more on the athletic side. And I'm hearing a new AD at Purdue absolutely lose his mind with the comment about national. Everybody has to have heard this by now, but I don't know if we could pull it up, if we can show it. What is this dude thinking?
Soup, sometimes chat can make mistakes, so it's really important to check your info. They have that little disclaimer at the very bottom there of chat.
Was it chat though, Ryan, or was it the human?
We'll never know, but nonetheless, it was a big mistake. And this is coming from a diehard Boilermaker, right? So
Ryan, give the quick little, basically, like the line that he basically mentioned that caused everybody to go crazy.
Yeah, essentially, he was talking about being a whole student athlete. The academics, blah blah blah, and winning championships, and basically was saying, like, hey, if you don't want to win, if you don't want to do all those things to be a champion in the classroom, on the field, blah blah blah, then you need to go to Indiana. And it's like, ooh, dude, come back to reality here. Who won the national championship in college football? Which I would never thought I would say in my lifetime. But kudos to them; they did it the right way and whatnot. So it was kind of
all I can say is this: no one would have been talking about Purdue football at all. And that's all everybody is talking about right now. So if you wanted the spotlight on your program, you got the spotlight on your program. That is for sure. So,
Did you guys go anywhere in July? Who went somewhere in July, by the way? Any vacation?
Yeah, family vacay up in Michigan. So got some vacation time in. Brad, what'd you do?
We rode the Amtrak from Seattle back to Chicago, 52 hours with my kids and I.
52?
52
Legit
hours.
52?
It was supposed to be 48. We were delayed 4 hours, which sounds bad, but then that's like a 2-hour flight being delayed 12 minutes. 10%. You didn't feel it. Yeah, it was great. We flew to Seattle, rode the train back.
That's
Highly
crazy.
recommend.
That sounds awesome.
We were in Florida over the 4th of July, so we love it down there, being on the beach, watching the fireworks and so forth there. So
How gross is the weather in Florida in July, Ryan?
it's pretty hot, pretty humid, pretty sticky, kind of like Indiana. So not much different.
Well, I'll tell you, lake life in Canada was amazing. Going to see family and then being on a lake for a while and trying my best to totally disconnect, which I did pretty decent job. Bart, did you go anywhere?
I went down to Franklin, Tennessee over the 4th of July to see my brother and his family, and tacked on some fishing when I went out to Colorado for the CCCU New President's Conference. So my son lives out there. He was my +1 for the conference, and we went and did some trout stream fishing up in the mountains, which was amazing. So I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and didn't he right out of the gate make a catch that was like?
Oh yeah, there in fly fishing, there's a thing called the Grand Slam where you catch 4 species in one day. First time fly fishing, he caught 3 of the 4. The only one he didn't get was the easiest one to get. So
He missed the single.
there are fishermen who chase that the entire lives, and he did it out of the gate in the first day.
That is crazy. That's that's awesome. Well, it's good to have everybody back. I know, that's you try to get in some good vacation time before the summer wraps up, and we know all of our lives are about to get crazy, hectic, and busy again. With that, why don't we just shift into what I think is probably everyone's favorite session, favorite point of the show, where we get into tips and tricks. So we'll turn this over. This is usually where Bart and Brad take it away, but we want to learn some new tips and tricks today.
I'm going to hop in first. I just dropped a link in the chat to my favorite vibe coding site, Lovable. I know there are many out there. It's just the one I kind of fell into, similar to how you fall into chat or you fall into Claude or whatever. This is something I just quickly built over the summer because having a solid call to action in an email, you can put your text-based links and all that, but just something that visually stops and catches somebody's eye when they're in the email. So I just built this that I can quickly essentially put in, grab this school's colors, or here's the brand guide, and I need a link for this, and that's the text. And so, again, you can come in and say, I was actually clicking in the live stream, not down here. Make the button say, what's a good call out, Jeremy? For anything.
Go Indiana. I don't know.
Deposit now.
I have no idea. Somebody else jump in.
Basically, again, the way I use this, I'm going to tell it to say, make the button say deposit now, which again, obviously I could just change that text and grab it. But the idea here is that people in an office who are all doing email comms together, I can quickly grab this, take it into Slate, and make my email look slightly better with something that pops a bit more. You see, we got this nice little rollover effect. It kind of bumps at us as we roll over it, so that's fun. And then
how are you sliding that into Slate, Brad?
Just
the code,
HTML code. Yeah. Just go into the WYSIWYG editor and click where you want to drop it. I wasn't going to show this, but our earlier conversation, I built this over the summer just for fun, an enrollment funnel calculator. And I just basically told it, I want to build a very simple calculator for schools to see their current conversion. And if you want to grow the class by X number, you need this many more admits or increase your yield conversion this much. You can see I was just talking truly to my phone. There's a lot of ums in here. And after some back and forth, change this, fix this, this is what I ended up with. So I can come in here and say, I had 4,000 apps started. We completed 3,500. We admitted 2,752 kids, and we had 652. Boom. So App started completed 87.5%. We admitted 78.6%. Our current yield's 23.7% or 18.6 from completed to deposit. So let's say I want to grow the next class by, the board says we need 72 more kids. Here are 2 paths to do it. So I can either increase my admits, again, top of funnel, and hold that same conversion, or I can improve my yield conversion. So if I can go up 11% on my yield from 23.7 to 26.3, I can meet the class on the same amount of admits. And then I also just said, hey, put in a little slider. Let me see kind of where I'm looking to go. And so, again, this is just like me talking to it and telling it, here's what I want to visually see. Here's an idea I have. And it's been helpful to pull this up occasionally in meetings as we're talking with schools about goals for the next year. Okay, you need 50 more students. Like, again, how are we going to accomplish that? Is it going to be yield? Is it going to be more applications? Is it going to be a mix of both? How are we strategically thinking about getting to that goal?
How long did it take you to put that together, Brad?
Oh, if I had 5 more minutes, we could just do it together real quick.
It's crazy.
I'm just thinking of some other. This is hilarious. I used this last night at cross country. We played a game called Catch Me If You Can. So I had this on my bike, and I was doing this 350 meter loop on my bike, and it paced me of how quickly I needed to go around the lap each time, and then it goes quicker and quicker and quicker. Again, I built that in like 5 minutes. My daughter is doing this. We have a farm stand on our driveway on Saturdays, and she puts in her inventory. She has her tablet out there. When they sell stuff, you click on chicken eggs, it immediately applies it to the kid. I'll be doing pour over coffees and cold brew this weekend. Soup, you stopped by a few weeks ago, actually.
I did. It was awesome.
Got yourself some sourdough, I think it was.
Yep, sure did.
This is 100% my daughter using this. And she comes in and says, I need a way to add tips, or I need a way to add mom as an employee. And I need to be able to delete sales in case I accidentally, click something. And you put in your prompt, and similar to chat, only it's designed to develop into code. And so if you're getting into more technical stuff or challenging code, it's going to struggle, right? In the same way that chat's not going to, put out a 400-page book for you on the first prompt. There's going to be some stuff you have to work through, but it's just been a fun way for me to itch that creative side without being fully in the code.
Well, and Brad, how old's your daughter?
The one that built that was 13.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I was going to say, we need to start calling Brad the most interesting man in higher ed. Seriously. Come on.
He really is. Yeah.
Put the crown on. Bart, you got anything?
I do. One of the slides that I often present, if anybody's ever seen me speak, I've got one slide that I have consistently had in my deck for the past 16 years. It's an Alvin Toffler quote that says, "The illiterate of the 21st century are not those who can't read and write, but are those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn." Mm-hmm. And so one of the things reason I bring that up right now is that for the last 3 years, I've been telling people, you know what, you need to learn how to prompt to do, code, to do AI really well. It's all about prompt engineering, prompting. Well, I'm here to tell you that prompting is dead. Don't do prompting anymore. And instead, you just need to start talking to these tools. They are smart enough now, and you have to almost think of them like they're an assistant. And you just start talking to them, tell them what your problem is that you're trying to solve, and let them figure it out. You don't have to kind of spoon feed them anymore. And one of the best ways that I have learned how to do that is by using a tool called WhisperFlow. And Brad, I don't know if you can pull my screen up there, but what this is a it's my favorite AI tool right now. Basically, I've got this on my phone. I've got this on my laptop. On my laptop, I simply press the function key and I just talk, and it will basically turn my dictation into an email or into a prompt or into whatever I'm doing. If it's an email, it basically will automatically put the spacing, the paragraphs, it cleans it up, it fixes the grammar and everything. I can do, like I was looking at my stats, I have dictated almost 400,000 words in the last few months with this thing. That's as much as 3 books. And I can get through my email in like record time now because I just literally dictate every email that I have. And
so Art, the prompt I showed where I had where my daughter had a bunch of whoever was talking to it there, it would clean all that up. You're saying
it would clean all that up. And then you can also set it to be, either formal, or you want to, like, if you're on you can say, when I'm texting, I need it to be more emoji based. When I'm in my email, I want it to be more formal. When I'm doing prompts, so you can do all these different things. But if this is something that you want, I've got a free month and I can send it to you. I've got a code for a free month, but it's probably the best, $10 that I spend every month, because I can just do so much so fast. It's so efficient. And, I've even heard people talk about it and saying that, they're going to say that, keyboards and QWERTY is kind of the way of the past, and all of our engagement with AI and everything is going to be voice mode going forward. Even the OpenAI device that they're creating is going to be kind of a pen or some kind of, voice activated tool, and not anything with a keyboard.
So cool.
That's cool.
So cool. Sweet.
Art, is that code something you can drop in the chat, or
Yeah.
do you have like one code for a person? Because I will fight somebody for it.
No, it's everybody can use the same code and get your free month. I'll drop it in the chat right now.
Yeah, I definitely want to be able to play around with that tool for a little bit. So thank you guys. As always, incredible things we learn in every show. So let's get to our next segment. Let's transition here, and we're going to bring in our first special guest of the show today. Welcome, everyone. Welcome Blake Huster to the show. Blake is the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions at Maryville University in St. Louis. I've known Blake for several years, watched him grow. I think, how long? A few years back, was a Rising Star Award winner over there in that neck of the woods. So Blake, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us today.
I'm good. Thanks for letting me join everybody. I was just watching backstage that last segment and just thought about how I might need to go out to my alma mater and ask for a refund on all those coding classes that they forced me to go through. So that was my takeaway from that. So I have some emails to send after this, but I'm glad to be here.
That's too funny. So Blake, give us, like, as we dive in, we're going to talk a little bit, like, all things, fall travel. Like, we're right here at that point in the cycle. A lot of us, like, we're not in the office. I mean, those of us that have worked on the college or university side, we're not in it anymore. Give us a picture of what life is like right there in the office right now. What's the team gearing up for? What's the focus? What are you guys doing internally right now?
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things. I feel like we spent a lot of summer doing a lot of brainstorming, kicking off a lot of projects, things that you had in the back pocket that you're like, all right, we got a little bit of time as we're wrapping up the class to work on those things. But really, we've shifted hard in second half of July and August, and been meeting with the team a lot about, at the end of the day, we're going to go out and hit the road again. And a lot of schools are, and that's looking a little crazy, a little chaotic, but really, how can we be strategic about the resources that we have and where we're going and what we're seeing? And so there's been a lot of conversations that I've had with our team here of, and we've said this a long time, and I said this to you all from somebody that's on the MOACAC board as well, is budgets aren't getting bigger at colleges for travel. And so we're going to have to really start thinking about how and back to your all's tech tips too, about changing class numbers and things like that. We're really now having to start thinking about, okay, when we're at these college fairs or when we're spending a week of resources in a specific area, how are we converting more in those experiences as well? And so we've talked a lot more about being strategic of, like, if I know a counselor in the third week of September is going to be in Indiana, and I know a counselor in the second week of September is going to be in Chicago, how are they taking that weird route back to Missouri where we're out of hitting a counselor event at the end of that second week to gear up and prep for our third week? And it also goes into some of the projects we're working on, especially now with AI, about how can we storytell better to kind of soften our leads and warm up our leads leading up to events as well. And that's a lot of what we've been focusing on over the summer, is gearing up for travel, is, it's no more just putting it on the calendar and showing up at college fairs. It's really what's the prep work going into it. And we're spending a lot more time on what that prep work looks like to make sure that we're doing brand recognition and drawing people into our table weeks before we arrive at college fairs. And so excited about what travel looks like, but yeah,
Blake, do you have any new members of the team that this will be their first travel season?
We do. Well, and I feel bad for some members too. We brought on a member right in the middle of fall travel season. That is not a recommendation I can make to any supervisor. That's going to be a tough one. I can remember last fall we designed her calendar for her before she even had the role, and as someone as I feel like our California regional used to do this all the time. Like you need help out in California and you think, oh, that'd be so much fun. Like I'll cover a week in California. When someone else is designing your calendar, that is not something you want to be on the receiving end of. Doing 3-4 fairs a day in theory on paper looks great, but in reality that's tough. And so just kind of recentering that a little bit, making sure that we're still caring for our people and even more than ever, just making sure that we find that balance in all the chaos of everything that's being thrown on the calendar.
Like, what would you give a first-year admissions counselor? Like, obviously you say a lot of things, but like, what's the top piece of advice? Not just your team, but like anybody who might come to you.
Regarding travel in general, you think? Yeah. Piece of advice. Ooh, there are a lot of them actually, but I think it is you really have to start thinking about big picture of what your role is in general in recruiting students. And we really strategically go away from using the word roadrunner for any of our reps because it is not road running anymore. It is 100% being strategic about where we're focusing our energy and resources. And so we really challenge a lot of our new representatives to spend a lot of time building connections in your territories before we're even hitting the road, if we have time. We like to do that in spring, off season, summer. And that's my biggest recommendation is build your connections in those territories that are assigned to you, because there are going to be hundreds of opportunities that are in your territory. And there are just going to be some that you just can't put your resources to, and you need to have the connections to be able to know that. There are still people today when I am helping other new team members build out their calendar of where to travel in Indiana or Ohio or California or Texas, all those different places, that I'll reach out to specific people and say, hey, the calendar's posted now. You know Maryville, you know our profile. Give me an idea of really what I need to hit and really what would be okay for me to miss on and where I can use those resources elsewhere. So that's really it. It all comes down to connection. We talk about connections with students, but it comes down to connections with networking and peers. And I think that's a big win for me. That was early in my career, is building out that connections so I know where I need to go and when I need to go.
Blake, of all the states you just mentioned traveling to, which is your favorite and why is it Indiana?
Here's what I'll give Indiana some respect for. I do think it is second tier to Missouri. I think Missouri actually took the lead this year, and I may be biased because I'm on the board. But the focus that I gave the college fair co-chairs this year on the Missouri board as the treasurer was, once again, resources aren't getting bigger. And so if we are wanting to create more revenue for the ACAC side, then we need to look at how do we make a strategic calendar that basically there's enough incentive for an outside state university to send a rep there for a whole week. And that should be our thought process, right? And so if you look at the Missouri College Fair calendar now, besides a week in September and a week in October, one admissions counselor could do the whole state of Missouri travel in the 8 weeks of travel. And so I think Indiana's been doing that really well for a long time. And so I give them a lot of credit of we stole some of that idea. I think they beat us to it. I think we're doing it better now, Brad, but I think Indiana is up there on one of the better places to travel. It can sometimes be tricky as an out-of-state person going to hit up these different places, just figuring out where the centralized location is for all this college fair information and all those things. That's tricky that not everybody has mastered. So I'll give you credit there, but I got to shout out a little.
So Blake, I'll say you're welcome, because part of my role when I was the college fair coordinator for Indiana ACAC was to centralize and create those weeks where we're traveling to one specific area to make it more efficient and whatnot. Thank you, Dave, Brad. But I do have to ask you this question, though. What's the one thing that you always have to put in your bag? You know, what's that one thing you can't leave Maryville without?
Okay, so not to throw people off, but if you tore open my travel bag right now, you would think I'm a little crazy. I have everything in there, from first aid kits to spare medicine to a lot of snacks, to even like it's very. I have a very specific travel bag that I must travel with. First of all, it's only available at I think Office Depot is where we had to order them from last time, and they hardly make them anymore. So if they go out and they don't offer them anymore, that is when I will retire from being on the road, because it's just such a specific bag. Here's what I'll say, a piece of advice, not always in the bag, but somebody that has to travel by airplane to fairs a lot of times. What I learned very early on, this is a great piece of advice that I give to others, is the tablecloth and 5 brochures never go in a carry-on on an airplane, or never go and check luggage on an airplane. The tablecloth and 5 brochures always stay in your hand like it's a briefcase that's tied onto you, because I could arrive in another state and they could have lost my luggage, but if I have a tablecloth and 5 brochures, I can go pick up some printed inquiry cards and I can make it work. But I don't want to show up to a NACAC with no tablecloth. That's going to be tough, or a plastic tablecloth. That's going to be
the Dollar General has black, table blankets and cloths. It's cool. It works.
Ryan,
Speaking from experience,
I would rather go home. I think I'd be mortified. I'd be mortified.
A nice vinyl with folds every 8.5 by 11. Yeah,
on top.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Immediately, students would walk by, and I just feel like flame me as they're walking by. It would be horrible.
Blake, you will have a moment someday when you're not traveling the way you travel now, and years later you'll still have that bag. Just funny side note, 6 years now post-COVID, I just finally stopped putting my toothbrush and deodorant and such in my amenity kit that I traveled with. And my wife was finally like, you're not going anywhere, just put the toothbrush in the toothbrush holder. But for me, like, I always that's the thing I grabbed every time I traveled, and I've lived out of it still for 6 years. So I just put it in a drawer, and now I guess like a domesticated stay-at-home worker, I've now put my toothbrush in the toothbrush holder.
Gosh, Blake, before we let you go, we know you're super busy, you got a lot going on. Do you have like one, when you think of all of the travel, do you have like just a funny story of something bizarre off the wall that's ever happened when you were out on the road during travel that you could just share and not get in trouble?
Ooh, yeah, I was gonna say there's some stories that you can ask me at an ACAC event that I'm not gonna put on recording here. No, I think I've changed some tires out on the road. I've jumped some cars out on the road.
What about like a good per diem story?
Oh gosh, I've got one of those too. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to be honest. At Maryville, it is very nice that the per diem is just. We've always been told on our credit card, like, do something quick for lunch, have a nice dinner. I did get myself in a touch and go situation where I was a little surprised by a bill just by not knowing where I was at in the world, and I was traveling to Nashville for a NACAC. And I was like, all right, I got time. Like, I'm going to have myself a nice little dinner. Big sushi fan. That's where you should stop right there. Is if you think anytime that you're out on the road for your college or university that you should go and try to get sushi on their dime, that is a bad idea. Because I was like, yeah, sure. I'm like this. I'm from rural Missouri, like middle of nowhere, Missouri. I just adventured into the sushi world. I was like, I got this. And at the end of the night, the bill was $200, and that one got me pretty good. That one, I was like, oof, yeah. So I was like, then you have to like decide if you're going to wait to call your supervisor or just see if it could pass through the billing statement. But it didn't get very far. I was asked how many other people I was taking out for dinner, and I had to sadly say it was just me, which was more alarming.
How many Buc-ee's have you been to, Blake?
Oh, I've been to, I think now 4 or 5 Buc-ee's. It is an elite stop, I will say. We have a Wally's here in St. Louis, not great. My goal is to hit the Dolly Parton one in Tennessee now. I'll give that's going to be my conference presentation is ranking stops on travel destinations. That's I think what I'm going to be presenting at a conference.
So Blake, when you come to Whitestown, Indiana, or Zionsville area, we just got a Wally's, so you got to make a stop.
It's not bad. We stopped there last month.
And if you come 2 years from now, Blake, they're about to build a Buc-ee's in Greenwood, Indiana, right off the interstate there too. So
are they really?
Yeah,
they are.
Wow, what is I've never even heard of Indiana before.
Crossroads of America, Blake. Come on,
Blake. I'm gonna throw this out for you. I want you to report back. I have a theory that in restrooms, as you travel, the amount of paper towel you get when you do that directly correlates to the perceived friendliness of the area. You go to Newark Airport and you do the hand and it goes and it gives you like 2.5 inches. And you go to Texas and it's like, here, have 18 inches of paper towel.
So if there's no paper towel dispenser, are we just off? Like if it's a hand dryer,
they don't want you there. You were never supposed to stop and go to the bathroom in the first place. Yeah. So just report
Don't
back
go to the
some
Pacific
point
Northwest then anytime soon.
Is accurate.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, Blake, we'll wrap it there on that note. Man, thank you so much. We know this is crazy busy time of the year, and thank you for just taking a little bit of time to pop in and chat with us. We wish you and the crew there at Maryville the best. I know things are about to get real crazy and hectic, and maybe we'll see you out on the road when you're making some swings through Indiana. But thanks, Blake, for joining us today.
Appreciate you, Blake.
Thanks, Blake.
All right, that was awesome. I was going to just share before I think we'll do a quick question, maybe if we got a question from the audience, but I was just going to share when Blake was talking, I can remember working at DePaul University in admissions, and we had a new young admission counselor that we had hired, and he was a former student, and he came back from his first fall travel trip, and he had something like $160 was on his, where he submitted, and he had labeled it travel snacks, and we were like, bro, what are you doing? You can't just spend that much money. Like, what did you buy? $160 of travels. He just thought when I'm going, whatever I need, I just keep swiping the card and it was travel snacks. So yes, I think we all kind of learn and make mistakes in those first travel seasons. But did we have any type of question or anybody from the audience wanted to jump in and ask anything?
I will just share a story along with that. I don't think we have a question,
Okay.
but the very first time I left the country, Cancun, bought some Cuban cigars on the beach. They probably weren't Cuban cigars. I declared them coming back, and I wrote down Mexican cigars.
Oh my God.
I was like 22. So here I am at TSA, they're Mexican cigars. They're not at all Cuban. The guy just looked at me and shook his head. You're an idiot.
Of course.
You gotta learn, right?
You got to learn. We all probably have some stories on the road, and this is maybe a good segue into our next kind of conversation. So I'd love to bring on our next guest. He's a good friend of mine, fellow coworker of mine, Mr. Janiyah Downing. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm great, man. It's been awesome to hear the show. It's been really good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Janiyah is the director of the Boilermaker Opportunity Program Plus. I think I got that right. Is that right, Jay?
Nailed it.
At the Purdue University. Jay and I go way back. In fact, we, like I said, we're colleagues before, and we used to travel and put that puzzle together, right, to figure out where we were going and so forth there. So, and Jay has some great stories. I've asked him to make them PG, guys, as best as possible. But I'm going to ask you a handful of questions. And I think the first one I absolutely love, and I know the answer, but you're going to tell it to us. So are you a Marriott or a Hilton guy, Jay?
Neither. And I will never be a Marriott or a Hilton guy. And I have a story behind why I won't. So I'm an IHG guy. So if you're Holiday Inn whatsoever, Holiday Inn Express, Crown Plaza, Intercontinental, like the list goes on. This is because I started my career in admissions working at my alma mater, Illinois State, and I was given the luxury of having all of Southern Illinois. So if you know Southern Illinois, you got Holiday Inns, you got Casey's, and you got land. Like that's it. So when I figured out about this whole points and like programs kind of thing, the only hotel I trusted that didn't have a color or number in the name was Holiday Inn. And the one time I stayed at a Motel 6, that just changed my whole life. I would never do that for my own safety. And
they didn't keep the lights on for you, huh?
No. I'll put it like this. This wraps up the whole trip. It said outside free breakfast, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm 22. I have $28 for per diem a day. I'm always looking for the free breakfast. I wake up that morning, get dressed, go downstairs for the free breakfast. I kid you not, it was a cup of coffee, like it was like a coffee maker with like styrofoam cup next to it, and like some muffins. Like that was the free breakfast situation. I wanted to go ask, but I was like, I know they're gonna tell me off if I have a question about that free breakfast. So I just left and had to send my per diem for that. But I could never be a Marriott guy. The one experience I had when I traveled with other Marriott people, it was two guys who I worked with, and we all go to the hotel. They pick the hotel because I'm with them. So they pick a Marriott. So they're members. So they get up to check in, and the first guy's like, "Oh, welcome, sir. You're like a double platinum member. There's a warm cookie on your bed. Like, here you go." The next guy, he's a Marriott guy. He goes up like, "Oh, welcome back. This is your third stay here. We're so glad that you're here. Happy there's a cookie with you as well. We look forward to your stay." I get up there. They literally threw the key at me. They're like, get out of here, you bum. And like, I just went to the basement to my room, and they're like penthouse rooms. So could never be a Marriott guy.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say, I'm really sorry for that experience as a Marriott lifetime platinum elite person who spent 1,000. I've spent 1,061 nights at a Marriott hotel, y'all. Okay, so just for math, that's nearly 3 years worth. Now I have stayed at others. I've stayed at my fair share of Hiltons and IHGs and whatnot, but yeah, 1,061. I looked it up right before the show.
That's awesome.
Nights at a Marriott. So sorry for that experience.
I will tell you, Hilton almost lost me last month in West Lafayette, Indiana. Lafayette, I should say. I am $800 of spend away from Lifetime Diamond on Hilton, which is like an insane spend requirement. We stayed at the Homewood Suites in Lafayette out by Meyer. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what
you're talking about. It's a motel.
Yeah, it is.
$300, and I show up, and I'm like, "Oh, the door is right there in the parking lot."
You should have called me. I would have told you not to stay there. Like, the Meyer is the best part. Like,
we're gonna stay over here because I need Hilton points. And my wife is like, it's a motel.
There's a stay bridge right next to that you should have stayed at under the IHG umbrella. My parents stayed there before, and it's pretty nice.
Yeah. I love that. Never again.
Jay, I know you do a lot of flying for your travels and recruitment efforts and stuff. So I got to ask you, window or aisle seat, or are you driving 10 plus hours? And the other question I have for you too is like, I know there's a lot of, you're like me and the rest of us. We've been to a lot of great cities. What's the one city that when you see it pull up on your calendar, you're like, yeah, I get to go there, so.
Yeah. I love the idea of sitting in a window seat. I think it seems cool. And then I realized I'm 6'2", 290, and that's not going to work for anybody involved, for me or the person next to me. So if I can get I have actually gone to the process of like offering someone like $50, like, would you switch seats with me? Like, I've literally done that on a plane just so I wouldn't have to sit by a window and get the aisle seat. Man, the city question is so hard because I don't know if you all know. I know Ryan knows this. I'm at year 19 right now. Like, I have hit 41 states in the U.S. I want to hit 50, but I've hit 41, and so much of that is based on my time working in admissions. Probably like 30 of the states I've hit because of my job. There's a handful of them, and then there's one that's just surreal. So I love Charlotte. Charlotte, North Carolina is one of my favorite places in the world. Chicago, I'll go there every day if they ask me to. DC, I had the DMV for a while. Love that. Actually, in Indiana, I actually like Maryville. That's one of my a city I really like to go to. But the surreal one is Aspen, because it makes no sense. If you've had the Colorado run before, you go to Denver and you do the whole week of events, and you either start or end like the NACAC and all the Denver related stuff in Fort Collins and whatnot. You go to Aspen High School for like a 2-day trip where you go there. They bus in all the kids from the Western Slope to stay basically in their gym overnight, and they have this massive college fair. And the way they get all these people to come is they offer all these incentives, like gondola rides and horseback riding and brunch and like fly fishing. And like I was given this territory, and I was like, that's not real. And I got there and I was like, this is real. This is a whole nother place I've never experienced in my life. And it was insane. So that when that popped up, I'd always get excited.
Wow.
Well, thanks for commenting. You know, the 219 Maryville, my hometown.
Yeah.
You know,
Albany's, let's go.
That's right.
He likes
Albany's.
Maryville, Ryan, because he can go to Chicago.
This is true, which is now Maryville, Indiana, essentially, and Hammond. You know, the Hammond Bears and so forth. So,
yeah.
You know, but Jay, I got to ask you. We all have a book that we're writing, right? Of all the stories that we hear on the road. Yeah, there we go, Brad. Of what the students are saying to us and everything. Give us one of those. What's the best, you can't make this stuff up type story that you have throughout your career in admissions? Like I said, 19 years worth. What's one of those best stories, man?
I have so many, like, you can't make this stuff up stories. And one of the ones that hit me when I was, this is one of those, if I wrote the book, this would be like NDAs would be signed and there'd be I can't say the name of the school, but I was planning this school. It was actually a school in Hammond. I'll give you that. It was a school in Hammond. I planned this like 3-month like trip where we were going to bring somebody from our music department. There was going to be like a music ensemble. I was going to perform. I was going to do an admissions field. We were bringing back current like alumni that had went to the school and went to Purdue. Like it was a whole thing. Planned it for months. Finally, the morning comes. We pull up to the school. I'm driving my car. They're in a van. There's other people from the area who've come, like a big thing. We get to the front door, locked. Everything is locked. Everything is shut down. I'm calling the school. No one's picking up. Eventually, I just happen to know the counselor. I call her, and she's like, oh, that's today? I'm like, yes, that's today. And we've been planning this for months. She calls the principal and tells him what's going on. They basically opened the school, let us in. Nobody knew. There was no announcement whatsoever.
No.
I'm telling the people I've been coordinating this with, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. We get in and they have to like set up. This is a music group. They have to like set up equipment. They have to set up music, speaking, everything. As we walk in, we hear the principal say, "All student presentation in the gym," and then hundreds of students flood in here, and we're all just like, "Give us a minute." Like, it turned out okay. But oh man, I was crazy embarrassed. But it went out. We got about 15 students that year, so it worked out okay. But it was rough.
Oh,
Jay, I remember you telling me that story, and like every time it gets me, you know. So like, man, that's a rough one, but that's definitely
not
good,
where I thought Jay was going with that. Jay, you got any good travel stories that you can share about Ryan? I'm curious.
Oh yeah. No, okay. So I don't know if y'all know about first year. Like when you first go to a school, before you get a travel territory, they just basically just say you're the person who's filling in all the gaps that we need. So my first year at Purdue, Ryan comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, there's a week in Texas. You want to take that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm new. I'm just doing what they tell me to do." Didn't give me the whole story. He just said there's a week in Texas. So it starts in Dallas and it ends in Houston. And I remember getting to Dallas and being like, okay, this is cool. It was literally 3 fairs a day, every day for 7 days. The only break you got was driving from one school to the next. One school canceled their fair and I literally almost fell down in my hotel crying because I was so happy. And if you know me, I'm level 30 extrovert. Like I'm like, yes, people, yes, great. By the 4th day of that, and what seemed like the 900 breakfast taco that I had eaten. Because every school was like, we got breakfast tacos. This is a surprise. On day 1, that's cute. On day 4, it's like, do y'all eat anything else? Like,
You gotta pace yourself on that.
I know. Like, I was like, I'll just go outside and eat something. But he gave me that trip. I came back. I aged like 15 years in that trip because I was exhausted. But yeah, that was great. That was a good
never
time.
left the state boundary, right?
Yeah. I got plenty more Ryan stories, but I don't know if y'all plan on doing another podcast that's not as family friendly, and I got plenty of those. So we've got a lot of ACACs and NACACs together. So I got some stories for you.
So, let me ask all you road warrior, like, what do you do when you roll into a place? I think of the Jim Gaffigan where he's like, he went to St. Louis and they're like, you got to see the arch, and he's like, I don't want to, like, I don't care. What do you like? So Jay, when they're like, have the breakfast taco, where do you draw the line? Like, oh, hey, welcome to Walla Walla, Washington. You got to go see the whatever. Like, do you do it every time, or do you ever like, I'm actually going to go to my hotel and rest?
I think they think I always do it. Like, they'll say like, yeah, go to this like really cool like diner, and I'm like, oh man, awesome. What's the thing on the menu? And they're like, get the pork tenderloin. I'm like, great. Never had the pork tenderloin. But they think I have, and that's what's important. We get that connection. Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
Well, Jay, thanks so much for jumping on, especially on short notice. Y'all, Jay, I texted him this morning. We had somebody else lined up for the show who had done great, but Jay, you pitched hit for us, came in and knocked it out the park. So thank you, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's my pleasure. And I'm surprised, you got the Purdue guy, and we didn't talk about the AD comments. I heard the AD comments, and I'll just tell you, for football, 3 wins this year would be progress. That's what we're going for. If we get 3 wins, like, yes, we have arrived and we are making our way. By 2035, looking pretty good.
Oh my God.
She's getting 1 more win a year.
Stay strong, Jay. Stay strong.
I'm trying, man. This is Florida.
Basketball season starts in November, Jay.
Yeah, look forward to basketball.
At this point, I'm looking forward to golf. Like, I don't even know what to look forward to anymore.
Awesome. Thanks, Jay.
Great seeing you, Jay. Thanks. Oh, that was all. I could
so many good travel stories, man.
Listen to him tell stories all day long. He is the best. Let's get into our final segment. We've just got a few minutes left, and we always like to end a few things on leadership. And so I think maybe, Jeremy, if you want to kick us off, just talk a little leadership before we wrap up today's show.
Yeah, just something that I would encourage leaders to think about, especially if you're at the senior level listening. So the director, AVP, VP level. I've been having a lot of conversations probably over the last 6 to 12 months, especially with your peers at schools who are asking me, hey, do you know anybody, that has sat down either with their administration, with their president, with their board, whoever it might be, and actually defined a clear pathway for like new staff, aka like, what does the path look like to a promotion? What does the staff, path look like to a pay increase? Or how are we deciding when you get new responsibilities? So many schools don't really have any of that actually organized in a true process for it. And what I'm finding is in the work I do, all these one-on-ones, have conversations with, I'll say, especially Gen Z admissions staff. They're all just like, we really want this. And we don't know how to have that conversation with our boss because we almost think it's out of line, right? And so, just a friendly reminder to make sure that you are talking, if you are a senior leader, with your team about, I'll say, career development, understanding what their goals are. And even if you can't come up, obviously, with a plan, in the short term, really thinking about it, in the long term, because it's something that I think, again, motivates a lot of us and definitely motivates the younger generation.
Love that. There was something I was thinking a lot about. And because I think it's a trap that like so many of us can fall into, not only with our friends on the college side and admissions or other departments, but I think I feel like I can fall into it as well. And it's don't confuse activity with progress. And I think like what I mean by that is it's so easy right now to just get like super busy with all the emails, the calls, the events, the campaigns, the meetings, the reports, the travel, the on and on and on, the meetings about the meetings. And you're just super, super busy, like you're super active and things are happening. But I think as leaders, we have to challenge ourselves to look beyond that activity and ask a much more important question. Is what we are doing actually changing the outcome? So it doesn't do any good just to be super busy, super active if what we're doing isn't changing the outcomes that we're trying to change. So if we're trying to grow enrollment, if we're trying to increase yield, like the activity, it has to produce an outcome. And so I think I would just challenge and encourage everyone out there to kind of remember that it's easy to fall into that trap. And at the end of the week, feel like, man, I was so busy this week. I was super active. So that must have been a very productive week. But if we can't tie it to change or outcomes, then we're just like we're on that hamster wheel, right? We're just spinning and not really getting anywhere. So that's just something I've tried to challenge myself with, because I think it's easy to fall into that trap. And I would just encourage everyone out listening to think about that and be intentional about the time you're spending in those activities that they drive outcomes. Ryan, do you have something?
Yeah, I think along the same lines, those outcomes and all that, be mindful that recruitment takes a village, right? It's not just on the shoulders of the admissions team or anybody like that. I mean, it's the financial aid team, it's the housing team, it's all those teams, the faculty, you name it, coming together and welcoming and taking care of the students. And that was my other point. I love this time of the season. You're putting the puzzle together travel wise. You're building relationships. You're seeing old friends out on the road and so forth there. But I think Blake hit it on the nail there when he said you got to take care of your staff. And so as a leader, especially, for somebody, this is maybe their first travel season or their 30th travel season, you still got to take care of your team and make sure that they're doing well and be flexible. Things come up, life happens. Just be adaptable and flexible in that regards.
Soup, I got a couple travel tips for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Top floor of the hotel.
Absolutely.
Right.
Check.
Water. People underestimate the value of water. I love my coffee. Do not drink coffee if you have to talk all day. It dries your throat out, and you have to drink so much water to be able to do that. And you got to be able to make sure you're getting rest, man. I tell this to the young people all the time, like, go enjoy the experience and build those relationships with people at other schools too. But listen, if you're going to have to do what Jay talked about earlier and be at multiple fairs in a day, like, it's really hard to be on, especially by the time you're on day like 2 or 3 or even 4, if you're not giving your body that downtime it needs, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think I can go back to my travel seasons. That first week, you're just so excited. Like, I loved fall travel season. And you just go. But I think you have to remind, and if you're out there listening and this is going to be your first travel season, okay, it's not just 1 week long, right? You've got to be able to stay healthy, sustain yourself. And if you just go all out and go crazy in week 1, by those last couple weeks of travel season, you're really dragging and you're kind of dreading it. So you have to pace yourself. You really do have to take care of yourself. I can't stress what Jeremy said enough. That's super important. Boys, any final thoughts? We're here in the last minute or two. Just any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
The only thing I would say, just one leadership thing I was reflecting on while you guys were talking, is that you can't lead others until you lead yourself. And what I mean by that is, if you can't develop discipline, if you can't develop priorities, if you can't develop taking care of yourself and doing the things that you need to do without anybody else telling you, you can't lead others. And so you've got to be able to at least understand that it's a leadership lesson as well.
Yeah. Can I add one more thing? You never know who's watching. Okay. When you get out on the road or attending a college fair or going to a school visit, you never know who's watching. I was really fortunate to get some great opportunities and jobs because people saw what I was doing out on the road. And so never take that for granted. Always do the right thing and have fun in the process.
Yeah. Take pride. Take pride in what you do. Don't take pride. Be the first one to show up at the college fair. Be the last one to break down. If a parent's hanging around and people are still wanting to, just because it's supposed to end at that hour, but there's still a student or two or a parent that wants to talk, like, go the extra mile. Remember why you're in this. It's for these students. It's for these parents. And you're right, Ryan. People are watching. Other schools may be watching. That's super important. Brad, what did you show to the camera?
Leaders are readers. Somebody told me that in my early 20s. I'm always trying to be in some type of book. We have thousands of books in our house and just always reading something. Right now I'm reading Die with Zero, Getting All You Can from Your Money in Your Life. And then I got this for Father's Day, Soundtracks, The Surprising Solution to Overthinking, which has been really interesting as well. So I'm mostly a nonfiction guy. I was in some fiction this summer as well, but yeah, just that thought. Leaders are readers.
Yep.
Just always gaining new information, new insight, new ideas, not just on LinkedIn.
Last thing as we wrap it up, Brian had a great tip in the chat. Always look for the flagpole. Flagpole main entrance. That is a huge tip. We'll end on that note. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in with us. Hey, be sure to tell a friend, tell a colleague. We want to see you back. Our next show will be September 11th. So make sure you get that on the calendar. Bring some of your friends and colleagues with you, and we will see you then. Have a great travel season. Those of you that are getting ready to hit the road, we'll see you next time.
See ya.
We are the Crossroads crew, bringing that fire to you. From the dorms to the boardrooms to raise up the you. Raise up the you. Every day we see it through. Higher ed dreams coming true. Brad Ward, drop the beat, let the whole place move. Crossroads crew.